Hi guys! So here is my second video. Other reason that I have been away and not making videos is my significant other had contracted Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Stevens-Johnson syndrome is a rare disorder that affects your skin or your mucous membranes, or both. Now I'll tell you our story, my boyfriend's story. Well, my boyfriend, we live together, so we're common law, but that sounds stupid to say. My significant other, let's call him Trevor, because that's his name. We all got sick. Trevor, Jesse, my son, and I. There was a flu going around, and we all caught it. Jesse and I started to get better, but Trevor didn't. His moved to his chest, which turned into pneumonia. He went to the doctor. The doctor prescribed him a medication that he has had many times before. He came home and took his first day's dose, thought that was that, he's going to get better. And the next day, the first thing weird that happened was a chunk of Trevor's skin on the inside of his lip came out, and he mentioned it to me, and we both thought, well, that's weird. The next thing he had was a strawberry-sized lump underneath his tongue. Now, that's odd, but he didn't think anything of it to emergency. And then his face started to swell very large, and I said, it's time to go to the hospital. He ended up staying. They kept him and put him on IV and Benadryl because they thought he was just having a normal allergic reaction to a medication. He was in there for 5 days. No one really told us what was going on and wouldn't give us a definite answer as to what was wrong with him until the optometrist came to see him and had mentioned Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and that's the first thing we had ever heard of, that what could be wrong with Trevor. I researched as much as I possibly could on what this could be. Now, after the 5 days, they sent him home with medication, and we thought, okay, is this done? Then his lips started to swell to twice the size. It looked like he had a botched lip surgery or Botox surgery or something. It looked purplish and swollen, very swollen. And he started to feel the skin inside of his mouth slaw off. The skin on his lips started to come off. So he went back to the hospital. They treated him with more IV because losing all that skin and not being able to eat and drink properly, he was becoming dehydrated. He was also set up with a bunch of appointments. There was nothing much we could do other than he could take his medication, and they had this mouthwash, a special mouthwash for him for the painful sores in his mouth from losing all the skin. You know, we did get lucky in a sense. This is not a lucky, not a nice thing to happen, but the luck did help with it. Didn't affect his skin. It only affected his mucosal regions, which are his lungs, his stomach, nose, mouth, eyes. So for the eyes, they gave him the drops that are very gooey to keep his eyes moist, because if they dried out, they could turn and start to do this drooping thing and stay that way. It could have permanently scarred him that way, but we were lucky it didn't. His eyes are okay. He had seen an optometrist to make sure of that. If he had lost so much weight, it didn't really look like Trevor anymore. I would come down in the morning and his lips would be black because it was just blood, and they would stick together through the night. He slept on the couch because if he slept in bed, he would roll over onto his stomach and then just blood would go everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna warn you right now, I'm gonna show a picture that could be graphic. Right now, if you get queasy by looking at certain things, look away, because I'm going to put up pictures of Trevor's lips, and just so you can see what he experienced of every day his lips coming off and having to deal with the blood and the inside of his mouth continuing to come off, is the skin off his tongue. He didn't have the taste buds. Just to show you how damaging and debilitating this disorder can be, and rare. Okay, I think you can look back now. I'm done with the pictures. But that's just what his daily struggle was to be comfortable. Pudding was his friend for a long time. He couldn't eat much of anything, and to drink, he had to drink through a straw. If he wasn't able to, they would have kept him in the hospital the second time. When we saw the dermatologist, he was put on a very long period of time to take steroids, because he had to take, I think, 7 pills for a week, and then the next week he had to take every day. The next week he had to take 6 pills every day, and then so on and so forth. Along with lip steroids, his mouthwash steroids, he had to take, and months and rest and a lot of suffering. He is now almost back to 100% better. His lips are very thin and almost like tissue paper. He has gained all his weight back, and he looks like himself again. We are just thankful that it wasn't on the outer skin, because that could have been months and months of being inside of a burn unit instead of months and months of him laying at home recovering. That's our story of having to deal with Stevens-Johnson syndrome, or SJS. I'm hoping to make more videos, or I don't know. Nobody watches these anyway, so I don't have any subscribers. But if you did watch this, thanks for watching. We are better now and much happier and getting back to normal, and thank you so much for listening. Hope to see you soon in making more videos. Okie dokie. Bye.